Hey, welcome back to Buckets and Bibles. So I was fellowshipping with some awesome people, and it sparked some stuff in me because the world is super crazy right now, and I feel like people are, I don't know, I think people are struggling. I feel like there's more division amongst um, different types of people, and there's also some kind of weird like pressure. And my brother last night mentioned, maybe it's from the solar flares, and it's causing people to be, angry or aggressive, or it's got something to do with our behaviors. But I've been kind of watching the last couple months, and just kind of watching things unravel in my small circles and my larger circles, and then, you know, outside of all of that, just in the world. And maybe something to pay attention to. But I think that there's something going on, and I'm not sure what that is, but I can tell that there's been a little bit of a change in the force, if you will. Um, and so this video is like about trusting people. So I don't know, I'm pretty easygoing. I've been around all different types, walks of life, different types of people, different states, different cultures, um, and I've been through some stuff and done some wild stuff myself, and you know, probably still unlearning a lot of that stuff, really. But I think that the more that the pressure builds um, with whatever's going on, the more what it does for me is it causes me to turn more to the scriptures, causes me more to turn to fellowship with my people, build context with them, and also heighten senses. Sorry, words are hard this morning. But if you've noticed any of that, the world's always been kind of crazy, and it's been, the government's goofy, and other governments are goofy, and they're always doing stuff that's like, what are you doing? Um, Besides that, there's definitely some kind of pivot that's happening right now, and um, I'm seeing, like, one thing I can think of is there's a guy who is following the way, really gung ho about it, very passionate about it, and somehow pivoted back to regular Christianity, which is ludicrous to me. Um, because from my understanding and what I've seen in the scriptures, I can't go back. I mean, there's not. It's like it's almost delusional to go back to that way of life. When you understand, like, what the word actually means, who they're speaking to, in the big picture, I guess. So it's heartbreaking to trust people, and then them to break that trust, or for them to do something that causes any kind of doubt or questions. Um, if they're one of you or not, if they're your people, or they're trustworthy or not. And I guess the point I'm trying to get to is, because all that's happening, I can't close my heart to people. Um, and that's a tall order. It really is. That's a really tall order, to not close my heart. And there's a difference between closing my heart off and guarding my heart. Because guarding my heart it's mandatory. Nobody wants to get hurt. Anybody that's ever had a friendship or a relationship fail um, knows what that's like. And there's a lot of grace with the Messiah, a lot. Um, if you've seen any of my testimonial videos, I came from a life that I absolutely don't deserve the grace and mercy that I've been shown. If I got what I had coming to me, I'd be locked in a box somewhere or dead. I mean, and that's it. But because He loves us, I don't. There's no. That's it. He just loves us. There's no. I don't. I couldn't guess it. Um, and we're supposed to love our neighbors. We're supposed to love people. We're supposed to preach the gospel, which is truth. Um, the scripture in context. Faith without works is dead. Um, you can't earn your salvation. It's a gift. But because you're saved, there should be some fruit. And in that fruit, there should be some obedience and a definite heart change and a mindset change on how you behave. Not that you're not going to mess up, because people mess up. We're human, man. I mean, we're so fallible and we're fragile, way more fragile than people want to talk about. And I don't care how tough you are. I mean, the toughest dudes around, there's the breaking points for all of us. And so if you're struggling right now and you've got this wall up and you don't want to let anybody in because you don't want to get hurt or you don't trust anybody, you should really consider trying to see them through the Messiah's eyes. And I'm not saying let your guard down, let them all the way in, but I am saying that if there isn't love and compassion for your neighbor, for the people that you're witnessing to, or for people that that maybe have something questionable that they're going through right now, that you're like, I don't know about all that. If you're not going out of your way to have context with people, if you're not showing up when you know they got stuff going on, if you're not going and seeing how they're doing and spending time with them. And I don't mean just go to somebody with like, hey, I see you're doing this, what's going on? Because sometimes that's not the way to do it. Sometimes it's just show up and hang out with them, talk about regular stuff. And if they bring it up, or if it comes up in conversation, then say, hey, yeah, I mean, I was wondering about that. Are you okay? Or how are you doing? Or are you struggling? What's going on? You should be, especially with people that are in your circle. You should definitely be putting the effort in to see what's going on. And I struggle with that too, because we get busy. We get busy and we've got our own stuff. But I hate losing people. I hate losing people that I love. And sometimes it requires a bit of self-sacrifice to go and do those things. It's not convenient. And I think that if you have a servant's heart and you want to serve your brother and your sister, that you have to break out of that shell and get out of yourself and go help people. Go be a part of their life. Go be a part of their hot mess. Weather a little bit of that storm with them, because I think that's what we're called to do in the long run, is to long suffer with people. And unless you've walked in their shoes, you don't know. I mean, I don't know, because everything that happens to us creates who we are and our character and how we respond to stuff and our past. All these things shape and mold parts of us that take a long time to get to know. And I have to trust people a little bit. I have to give them something. I have to give them myself. And the truth is people are going to fail and they're going to break my heart. And there's going to be people that I go, man, I never thought that guy would have done that, or I never thought they would have, left or done this or done that. And that's okay. That's part of it. That's going to happen. And it's okay to guard your heart, and to be watchful. But for me, it's not okay for me to shut it down and build a wall around it and not let anybody in. That's a dangerous place to be. And with that, there's certain risks that are going to come with, meeting new people, or spending time with people that are riding the fence on certain stuff or that are going through things. You know, some people are going to mess up and you're going to get hurt. It doesn't have to, yeah, it doesn't have to like control your everything. You know, it doesn't have to, uh, if one person is affected in a positive way and I'm able to build a brother up or rebuke a brother on some nonsense and they're able to turn, it's worth it. One person. And that's if I get hurt 50 times. One person makes it worth it. And so I still have to be truthful. And I'm not saying if somebody's just out of control or, you know, conduct unbecoming a human being. It's one of the phrases I use. If they're bad news, that's something different. And even bad news people, you know, you can still treat with love, like the Messiah would. It doesn't mean you have to invest and put yourself in a bad situation, because there's ways to do it. If you're not good at it, I mean, I get it. Sometimes I, put myself in a weird position where I'm like, shoot, man, I'm a little more invested than I wanted to be, and now I'm kind of in this. And that's okay. You know, part of it's a learning curve. I mean, we all go through those things. So trust is something that takes years to build. And I know you guys have heard it. It takes years to build and just seconds to destroy. And sometimes there seems no hope of how would you ever come back from that. But there's ways back. There is. There's things that I never thought would be possible for me. Or how am I ever going to get through this? And every problem that I've ever had, I was like, oh man, what are we going to do now? You know, like we're doomed. Every single problem, every one. Not like some of them, but every one of them has worked out. They've all worked out. And I'm not saying they're going to work in your favor always, like the way you want it to, but they all work out. And spending time in prayer, in the Word, fellowship with your people, trying to grow your understanding, sharing that with people, sharpening, iron sharpens iron, doing that with your brothers, investing time so you have context with people, investing time with new people. You know, my wife was out the other day and she was witnessing to a lady at a park at just some random, homeschool moms at the park get together. And this lady doesn't really know about the gospel, but like keeps some of the biblical stuff. And my wife's like, I don't know if I've ever shared the gospel with somebody before, because they usually already kind of know it. And I said, yeah, it's probably a different context now than when you were, a regular Christian. It's like, all you got to do is, get saved and that's it. And there's more to it than that, is what I'm saying. So, but sometimes you're going to have to put your heart there on your sleeve, and you're going to get hurt. And it's just the way it is, man. I mean, I don't want to build a wall around my heart so that I never can experience new people or new things. And a lot of people I see are getting very reserved and like almost fed up with it. And I understand, I do, because I get burned out on it too. But there's still more to go. We're not done yet, and there's a lot of people out there who need guidance, who need fellowship, who need things that I have that I probably forget and take for granted. They need fellowship. They got to have some kind of model to pivot to, because if you leave people up to their own devices, you end up with 41,000 different Christian denominations. Where's the unity in that? There's not one. It's like a division. So trust. Do your best to try to trust. And I don't mean put yourself in a bad situation, because I definitely don't mean that. Because if somebody's got the red flags, I mean, you're way outside the circle until you give me a reason to. But there's people out there that still need truth. They need scriptures. They need fellowship. They need stewardship through stuff. Gifts that maybe you have to give that you don't even know you have. So invest time in people, build context, build relationships. Um, love the best you can. I think you ever heard that saying, love like you've never been hurt before? Well, I mean, it's kind of true, but I mean, it's a little catchphrasey. Um, but yeah, I mean, you got to put it out there. And it's tough because things are super duper weird out there and people are weird and there's a lot of stuff going on that I don't want no part of. I don't want my family around it. And so like there's ways though. And so it takes work. So anyhow, I don't know if anybody gets anything out of this video, but I appreciate you guys watching. Have an awesome day. Shalom.